One of the biggest problems with these pumps that I've ever found is oil. Not putting enough oil in, putting the wrong oil in. It just goes on and on and on. So what I'm going to go through here is just a few things. So firstly, if you've got oil leaking out of your pump, it's going to leak out of a few spots. Possibly here, possibly here, possibly here, there, or on the other side of that bearing cup. Unless you've lost the screw out of the oil filler cap, it can leak out there too. Now if it's leaking out of here, you've got a couple of things that could be happening. One, the pump is at an angle like that, and the oil's pooling on this side here, and it works its way out. If the oil coming out of here has got a milky consistency to it, that means it's mixed with water. So you've then got water traveling across the shaft and into the oil. So for that to happen is you're missing these rubbers here, or when the rubber moves forward, it's actually too far forward and it hits onto that flat surface. There's water between them. It squirts it out like that, and it then goes back up to the top here, runs down, lands on the side of the shaft, and the water gets put in. But these missing parts are one of the most common killers of pumps, because then water gets into the oil and destroys that side completely. So stop that water getting in, whether it be from flooding or whatever. If you get water in this side, what I've done in the past is you drain that, and sometimes it's got to sit with the plug open for a day or two. Make sure you get as much of it out as possible. I'll then throw a little bit of metho in there, give things a bit of a shake around, or move things around just a little bit. I just move the wheel by hand then, and that the metho can dissolve the oil, and it can also dissolve the water, so it tends to pull it out. I'll then run some sacrificial oil in it, run that for a day or two, then drain that out again and put fresh oil in. Quickest way to destroy a pump. They call these century pumps because they last for 100 years, but you get water in there and it'll last for a week. Other things that you're going to find is if you've got oil leaking out of here and it's not milky oil, well then you might have overfilled the pump. So you've got your filler plug at the back over here, and what happens there is, now there's two types of filling plugs that you'll see common on pumps. This style, which is just a small filling section, and others where it goes straight across from the bottom and then comes up, and it's like a much larger thing at the back. With these ones, you move the eccentric that's in here is doing this. So you move it so that it's in the oil, and then you'll fill this to the bottom of the filler plug. So about 10 mil below this surface here, you fill it to that with the eccentric in the oil. All that'll work happy days. You're not going to get any overflow. If you find that you then got a pump that's got the square back to it that looks like that, best with those is to have the eccentric up out of the oil. So while you're filling it, if you're turning the wheel, you'll watch the oil level will go up and down. So with these ones, you want it that when the oil level's at its highest point, you fill that to its level. With the other ones with the square back, bring the eccentric out of the oil and then fill it to that level. So that's when the oil drops to its lowest possible point. It's just a peculiarity between the two that I found. It just seems to work a lot better. So once again, make sure the pump's not leaning too far forward, and then you're not going to lose oil that way. If you find you've got oil leaking out of these points here, it's probably because your gasket over here is gone. I sell those gaskets on eBay, they're fairly cheap, and so unscrew those, or check this, maybe even a screw missing. I've seen that a few times, and it'll also cause maybe this part to start wobbling a bit, but all your oil then goes out and you get about a week out of the pump before it's dead.